Reese, thank you. This is Ames, Iowa, and Jack Trice Stadium. Football weather today, 63 degrees and a light rain. A home opener unlike any other. Welcome to ESPN College Football, presented by Geico. The Cyclones and the Ragin' Cajuns. Iowa State comes out of the crowd to a mostly empty stadium, but huge expectations for the 23rd ranked team in the country. Welcome, everybody. Tom Hart in Atlanta, Georgia. Mike Golick in Bristol, Connecticut. College football is back. You're back in it. How excited are you about this and this team?
Oh, I really am. Used to be in shorts and T-shirt watching football. Now I'm back in a coat and tie, but very happy to be talking this game and this quarterback for Iowa State, Brock Purdy. Keep an eye on this guy. Todd McShay has him number 5 in the draft-eligible quarterbacks. He could be moving up this year. Love him in the pocket, but when he moves, slides out of the pocket or runs out of the pocket, I think Louisiana is a little more worried about his playmaking outside of the pocket. And one of the big pluses he has, and when I say big, I mean big, 3 tight ends, 2 at 6'7", 1 at 6'6", 2 of the starting receivers, 1 6'6", and 1 6'3". So he plays great, big target to throw to, a lot of expectations for Brock Purdy and Iowa State this year.
No travel for us. We're travel for our third member of the crew. Cole Kublik is in Ames, and he gets to see this Ragin' Cajun offense up close.
Yeah, speaking of offense, Tom, you've got a 3,000-yard returning passer, 2 1,000-yard rushers returning for this Cajun offense. 3 starters back on the offensive line. The other 2 were drafted. They have a plan put together where they got on the plane and said, we're not going to put on a good performance. We're going to win this football game, and the Cajuns believe that they can.
They were sensational last year on the ground. They played for a Sun Belt title for the 2nd straight season. We're underway in Ames, and from the 5-yard line out to the 24. Time now for today's Weekend Wake Up, brought to you by Wendy's Breakfast.
Well, you look at some of these matchups here, and boy, they are going to be very interesting. This run game for Louisiana averaged 257 yards a game, 41 carries. The Iowa State defense has their work cut out for them. Big man on that line, Osiris Torrance, 332-pounder. Keep an eye on him. And as I talked about Brock Purdy, we'll get more into him and what he needs to do for Iowa State. But this Louisiana running game is something to watch. A lot of pressure on this Iowa State defense.
1st and 10 from the 24-yard line for the Ragin' Cajuns. 6th in the country in rushing offense last year, and they stick with what they finished with. Elijah Mitchell picks up 4 on 1st down. We'll see a heavy dose of the run game today and a heavy dose of Greg Eisworth in on the tackle.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of him. Big-time player here, 2-time Big 12, all Big 12 selection. Key here for Iowa State, they are very aggressive on defense. Play your responsibilities for the cutbacks.
Lewis out of the shotgun. Here's Lewis to run it. To throw on the run. And outside the pocket delivers a strike that's dropped. Levi Lewis, preseason 2nd team all-conference, the first 3,000-yard passer in school history. He's got a lot of snaps under his belt, Mike.
And understand, he's a lefty, so that rolling left is the way he wants to go. It changes up for that defense normally on the blind side, so you want to stop him from rolling left. He got out there, got the ball to Johnny Lumpkin, the tight end who missed all of last year with an injury. Had an easy catch, just dropped it for his quarterback.
So 3rd and 7 now. First possession of the season for the Ragin' Cajuns. Off of an 11-win campaign on a slant that's complete for a 1st down and a pickup of 10.
This is where Levi Lewis excels, right in the pocket. Great poise in the pocket. Again, not overly tall at 5'10". He hits Williams on the slant route. Iowa State's in zone, just get enough for the 1st down and move the chains. That's what they do. They want the successful running game, and the more successful they are, you watch Lewis hit it over the top then.
Iowa State walks up a safety. They do that a lot. More a little bit later. Elijah Mitchell gets touched in the backfield, but they can't bring him down until he picks up 4.
Again, you're going to get
in on the stop.
A heavy dose of that big offensive line. And some downhill running, the two-headed monster from the backfield with Regis and Mitchell. You see what they did last season. Impressive on the ground.
And Trey Regis in the game for the first time for the Raging Cajuns. To the air again, and it's knocked down in the secondary by Tavon Kyle, the sophomore from Valdosta, Georgia.
Yeah, going to Dante Fleming. Boy, guys, we were talking to the coaches. Do they love this true freshman? And the pass was just about there, little underthrown, had him. That was a timing route that Lewis was just a little short on, or it would have been a heck of a completion right in the hole of the zone.
Raging Cajuns have already converted 1 third down on this opening drive. 3-man rush. They push the pocket and almost get to Lewis. Dancing up the sideline and out of bounds. They finally force him out behind the line of scrimmage. It was Will McDonald who brought the pressure.
So here's this Iowa State defense. It's 3-3-5, 3 rushers. They want to pressure you, but with 3 rushers, you got 8 back. They just play that zone and say, we're just going to stay in our zone, not give you any holes for you to throw the ball. Great job just sliding with the quarterback and taking away all his options.
Tariq Milton is back to receive this punt from Reese Burns, a junior from Melbourne, Australia. And they're going to switch returners. Coming back to the 14-yard line is DJ Miller, and Miller gets swallowed up. So here's Brock Purdy. If you don't know the name, well, now's the time to get to know him. His dad, Sean, played baseball at the University of Miami. Long tenure in the minor leagues. And an athletic family includes sister Whitney, who played softball at Southeastern University. Chubba is a freshman quarterback at Florida State. They worked out all spring break together. And Purdy, well, all he did was set school records in passing yards, touchdowns, completions, and total offense.
I think a lot more people are going to get to know Brock Purdy this year. As I said in the open, Todd McShay has a number 5 on the draftable quarterback. That's if he comes out, and he could move up that ranking. We'll see. He's a heck of a pocket passer, but really makes things happen on the go.
On first down, he hands it off to Breece Hall to finish the season strong, and Hall rips off 5.
So what's interesting here with Iowa State, it looks like only one returning starter, and Trevor Downing, the left guard who they just ran over there, but Colin Newell, the center, he was a starter in 18. He was hurt in the first game last year, and they have other guys on the line as well who started previous. Downing, the true freshman last year, had himself a heck of a year, their best lineman last year.
Yeah, he started all 12 games. Purdy to the air, and they work it to the perimeter, and Sean Shaw, it's a pickup of 10. A lot of weapons for Brock Purdy to go to, including 3 dynamic tight ends, but he's missing one of his main weapons today. Charlie Kohler at tight end will not play today. He is out with what they say is a lower body injury. He was a game time decision and did not dress. He still has Chase Allen, Dylan Sainer, and plenty of other weapons to go to.
Kohler's a big miss for them, though. A guy that you're going to keep an eye on Sundays. He fits that great prototypical NFL tight end.
They had Sainer in motion and now Milton, and they're going to go the opposite way with Breece Hall. Sophomore out of Wichita, Kansas, picks up 3.
So you look at what Brock Purdy has to throw to. You know, even with Kohler's out, but in for him, you'll see Easton Dean. He's also 6'6". You have Dylan Sainer. You have Chase Allen. Both are 6'7". You look at Sean Shaw, who caught that ball before at 6'6". Xavier Hutchinson, a transfer over from a junior college at 6'3". It is incredible. Tyreek Milton fits there in at 5'11". He wants to hang out with the big boys in there, but some great size and body position receivers for Purdy to throw to.
Yes, Steve Prohm wouldn't mind having that front line. Here's Milton setting up a screen, and he's finally hog-tied at the 49-yard line. It'll be an Iowa State first down on a pickup of 9.
Well, you're getting a little bit of everything now, right? Some runs up the middle, runs outside, quick passes, screens. This is that first series to throw a whole lot at Louisiana to see how they're going to react.
Cajuns didn't have anybody on the ground on that one, and back to Hall to midfield.
Joey Ramos, the right tackle, with a nice pin block there to give Hall the outside. And then you see they quickened up there, so they're changing pace as well. They're giving Louisiana a whole lot to think about right now.
Second down 2 for Brock Purdy and the Cyclones. First ever meeting between the Cyclones and Raging Cajuns. The game that was scheduled in August. After everyone went through their schedule shuffling, Hall brought down after just one. Chris Moncrief in there for the stop, and that's going to leave third and about 1.
Nice play there. I thought he may bounce to the outside, but he didn't cut back in. You mentioned Moncrief and Manick both on the tackle there. Good job of holding the line of scrimmage, not giving the back anywhere to go. That's what Louisiana is going to have to do. You don't want this running game to take off, because that's just going to help Brock Purdy in that passing game that much more.
Purdy under center on 3rd and short. Here's Hall, and he bounces to the edge for the first down. And the series continues for the Cyclones.
Nothing fancy there. Got those big tight ends at the game. Jared Russ in there again with Kohler out, fullback in to add some size as well. As we take a look at Matt Campbell, running that Iowa State program now, is the 5th season. And we'll talk about it during the game, of what he had when he first got to Iowa State to where he is now is just amazing.
Both coaches have built these programs in their own mold. Louisiana coming off of an 11-win season and some close losses for the Cyclones last year, but always big wins every year. Deep ball, incomplete. Looking for Xavier Hutchinson, the junior college transfer. Percy Butler had the coverage.
Yeah, good coverage as well. A ball just a hair underthrown. A receiver looking for it a little more inside for him and down the field. I'm sure that was what Purdy would love to have back there.
First miss of the day for Purdy. Iowa State band is in the stadium. Cheerleaders are there. And it's truly a friends and family crowd, including some family members of Louisiana football players. Basically, if you're on the pass list, you can get in the building. Otherwise, you're out of luck. Purdy, pocket collapsing, and he's able to dump it off to Nwangu. Kane Nwangu, the senior from Frisco, Texas, has his first touch. Man, a lot of weapons for this team.
Sure is, but a great job there by McCaskill from Louisiana. You go ahead and let him catch the ball, keep him in front of you, and make that play. You know, make the tackle, brings up still 3rd and fairly long. But you were talking about it. I love the fact that the Louisiana families can have some family members of players at this game as well. Again, not a monster crowd, but at least families from both teams are able to come in and watch their kids play.
Somewhere in the vicinity of 1,500 to 2,000 observers are in the stadium today. 10th play of the opening drive for Iowa State. Purdy to the edge and an incomplete pass, trying to find Hutchinson.
Yeah, it went 3 receivers to the left and just trying to single up on the right side to Hutchinson. Another off throw by Purdy. I don't need that. I talked him up big before the game. He can't be doing this to me. Does he understand that I have a reputation to uphold a little bit here? Wow.
Yeah, you do. Both teams punted away on their first possession. Joe Rivera on to punt it away. Trey Regis is deep for Louisiana. Rivera going to have this one killed inside the 10. He was great in their bowl game against Notre Dame, product of the Jewel of the Prairie, Grinnell, Iowa. 29-yard punt back to the Raging Cajuns.
The Dr. Pepper Championship Drive Game of the Week.
Later tonight, Trevor Lawrence leads #1 Clemson against Wake Forest, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ESPN. Wake playing the AP #1 team for the 9th time. They've lost all 8 previous meetings by an average margin of defeat, 34 points per game. That didn't stop Chris Paul from picking the Demon Deacons. Trey Regis in the backfield. Carry on first down, nets 2. Ryan Vance with the stop for Iowa State.
I stopped by Vance, honorable mention, all Big 12 last season, right in the middle. Again, you're going to see an aggressive defense. They love to push vertically here and play in space. Their whole idea is games now are in space, though this one may not be as much the way Louisiana wants to run the ball.
John Haycock, the defensive coordinator for Iowa State. Little toss on the sweep. That'll go as a pass, and Peter LeBlanc finds no yardage after a long run, stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Well, 3rd and long. This again, with the success Louisiana has running the ball, as I mentioned, 257 yards a game last year. They're normally in 3rd down and 3rd and shorter situations. Now, nobody likes 3rd and long, but when you're a running team, the way Louisiana is, it really affects you more. Let's see if Levi Lewis can pull him out of the fire here.
6th in the country in rushing last year, 62nd in passing. Corner blitz coming. Lewis stands tall, tipped and almost picked, just a hair behind his intended receiver, Jalen Williams, a former Boston Red Sox farmhand.
Got to have that one. Great job just waiting for your receiver, Williams, to clear to the middle of the field. In the pocket, not really rushed, could step into the throw, just flat out behind. Just a miss there. As a first series, we saw his tight end drop a ball right in his hands. This one, he was off the mark.
So 3 and out that time for Louisiana. Burns, first team preseason Sun Belt punter, one of 19 on the Ray Guy Award watch list, will run into this one. Tariq Milton catches it out of bounds, and we'll see where they spot that punt. 6:02 in the first quarter from Ames. College football is back.
ESPN College Football is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And in part by Wingstop. Order delivery now at wingstop.com, where flavor gets its wings.
If you don't know the story, it's simply amazing. Jack Trice was the first black student athlete in Iowa State school history. He died from injuries suffered in his 2nd game of his career. That was at Minnesota in 1923. They named the stadium in his honor in 1997. He was married when he showed up at Iowa State. He was an Ohio native, and we talked with head coach Matt Campbell about it. He said, I learned more and more about this story. I couldn't believe it. He was from just 5 minutes away from where my dad coached in high school. 4,000 students and faculty attended his funeral on campus. Back then, there were only 5,000 students enrolled at Iowa State. And after decades of pushing for the new stadium to be named after him, they finally got that done. Late 90s, ball on the ground, and Brees Hall coughs it up, and it's recovered by Percy Butler.
Certainly want to continue on the Jack Trice story, but here you go. Nice. It was going to be a nice gain up the middle, going to make it 2nd and short. Tries to stiff arm, so he only has one arm on the ball. Nice job with the ball getting raked out of there. Easy recovery for Louisiana. First big break for them for the game. Nice play by
Quibido was the one that popped it out.
Yeah, great job. He was getting stiff arm, but still was able to rake the ball out for the recovery. So let's see big play. A lot of times big play where you are in the field. Sometimes that team getting the ball will go for that big shot. Levi Lewis talked to us a couple of days ago and talked about how he was working on his deep ball. See if they play it safe here with the run or take that shot after a turnover.
Dante Fleming, the freshman, number 17, is deep play threat. Here's Mitchell. Gain of 2. Let's check in with the studio.
All right, guys, good afternoon. Matt Barry here with the Rocket Mortgage Studio Update. And Sam Howell, the talented sophomore quarterback, coming off 38 touchdowns a year ago, picking up right where he left off. Garrett Walston, touchdown Tar Heels over on the ACC Network. Mike Golick, great to have you back in college football.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that very much. Good to be back. I have missed this. It has been way, way too long.
I mean, last time you were working in college football, Notre Dame wasn't in a conference.
Oh,
Lewis
seriously.
gonna roll, and he gets dropped from behind, and another sack for Iowa State, their 2nd of the game. Latrell Bankston comes up with it, a loss of 4.
Again, we talked about an aggressive defense for Iowa State. That's the way they like to play. Normally it's a 3-man rush. See, same here, playing the run, getting off the block extremely well. Blocked there by Ken Marks. He gets beaten on the play. great rush. When it's not about the rush, to be able to get the rush. You're playing more coverage and not the rush. That's just great one-on-one effort there.
Banks and first-team JUCO All-American Hutchinson. Out of the backfield, it's Mitchell, a great receiver for a running back. He's got a first down, and he awkwardly gets spun out of bounds.
Well, what a great job. They looked right to try and pull the defense over there for the screen pass going left. Got a little bit of room, broke a couple tackles. Iowa State had a chance, had a couple guys there. There's one, there's another, but getting blocked. A great job weaving through for the first down.
End around this time. It's LeBlanc again. This is a Louisiana offensive line, which for the first time in their school history had 2 players selected in the NFL draft.
And don't think they're not using that in their recruiting talks, huh? We got guys going to the NFL, and they got one in that right guard, as I mentioned, Osiris Torrance, who is all 6'5", 332 pounds of him. He's a freshman last year, freshman All-American teams, and they are building something there.
Chris Smith now in the game, his first touch, and he's taken down at the line of scrimmage by Jaquan Bailey. It never happened before. In fact, they had 3 overall taken. Robert Hunt went to the Dolphins, Kevin Dotson to the Steelers.
Listen, it's a
and
great.
Yet they've reloaded that O-line.
Yeah, it's a great selling point when you're going to sit in living rooms of the big guys to say, yeah, we got guys making it to the NFL. Maybe a guy or 2 on this line could do the same thing. It really helps.
Zach Robertson, a left tackle, came over from Arizona State. They run his direction. And a nice move through a sliver of daylight for a first down for the Raging Cajuns.
One thing Iowa State again likes to do is attack, so that will leave creases, and the linebackers need to be there here. Big hole, linebacker there, nice little juke move on Orion Vance there to get the extra yards. That's one you won't like in film the next day.
Another run for Chris Smith behind this O-line. Cole, you're on the field. What do you see out of this Raging Cajuns offensive line?
Well, big and physical, and they can get after you, Tom, but the thing that helps them even more than that is they really do mix and match their run schemes. And I spoke to Rob Sale, the offensive coordinator, before the game, and he said, we're a heavy zone team, but we're actually going to mix up the different zone looks that we get. We're going to run some gap scheme, counter, trap. We're going to run some split zone. So I think also what they're doing is keeping this Iowa State defense off balance a little bit by mixing and matching the actual run looks that they're given. But it's a big physical group. I mean, it is a Power 5 offensive line when you see them on the field.
How complicated is that quickly to run so many different looks?
Against this defense, I think it is a little bit more complicated because you just don't see this look very much in their conference.
Trey Regis slips out of a tackle. And a nice gain, a pickup of 7. And Coach Billy Napier knows what Power Conference football looks like. Stops at Arizona State and LSU, among others. 3rd season as Louisiana's head coach and the reigning Sun Belt Conference Coach of the Year. Despite the fact that Eli Drinkwitz, now at Missouri, won the title at App. Here's Regis, and he takes it inside the 10. And Cajuns looking at a 1st and goal.
And right now, what they're doing extremely well is the back is being left to an open defender and just beating him. You know, that's what's working here. That defender's got to be there to make the play, but right now the backs are getting the better of him.
They've converted all 3 third downs. Regis stopped for no gain.
It can be a difficult defense the way they run this 3-3-5. What you're going to see every now and then, you're going to see that center point. And the center is pointing, and he's identifying who the offense is going to say is the Mike linebacker, the middle linebacker, and they base all their blocking schemes off of that. So the center will look, and occasionally you're going to see him point. They'll either say it verbally or point. They'll identify who that middle backer is, and then they'll base their blocking scheme off of that. You see him pointing there.
That's Shane Ballo, the center, and he's pointing out Orion Vance on 2nd and goal. And the freshman Fleming gets taken down in this backfield. It's a loss of 5.
You know when all that pointing doesn't help? Is when a guy, when Jaquan Bailey goes underneath the block and does a great job. They were trying to reach him. He just came underneath and was quick enough to just break it right outside. Doesn't matter what blocking scheme you have. You can have the best one in the world, and not going to help when you get penetration like that.
So the first quarter will come to an end with the Ragin' Cajuns, after the fumble recovery, looking at a 3rd and goal. Levi Lewis and company looking for an early lead on the road against a top 25 opponent. You're watching the Big 12 Conference on ESPN. Fall-like weather in Ames, Iowa, at Iowa State. Temperature just into the 60s, and some rain may fall in this one. 23rd ranked Cyclones scoreless in their home opener with Louisiana. Elsewhere in Big 12 play, Kansas State and Arkansas State tied at 7 midway through the first quarter in Manhattan. Senior quarterback Levi Lewis out of Baton Rouge, preseason second-team All-Sun Belt, facing a 3rd and goal for the Ragin' Cajuns. And Eli Mitchell picks up 4. Another stop for Jaquan Bailey. That'll leave 4th and goal. The Ragin' Cajuns have never beaten a top 25 team on the road. Their only top 25 win came against Texas A&M in Lafayette in 1996.
I would say that was a little play it safe there. Didn't want to take any chances going to the end zone to turn the ball over. Maybe catch him by surprise with the run, but I think that was a play it safe, and let's not squander this opportunity to put some points on the board.
First collegiate attempt for Nate Snyder, who last attempted a field goal in a game in high school in 2015, and the Indiana transfer leaves it wide right. Missed opportunity for Louisiana after a lengthy drive following the fumble recovery. The Cajuns can't cash in. 13 plays net them nothing. This season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a contribution to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, Allstate. Cheerleaders, a spirit squad inside Jack Trice Stadium, and something to cheer about after Louisiana's 13-play drive after 48 yards came up empty. Goose eggs on the scoreboard. Kanene Nwangu is the running back next to Brock Purdy. And they bring the tight end Sainer in. Nwangu gets stuffed at the line of scrimmage, maybe gets one. Joe Dillon, the 5th-year senior from Tylertown, Mississippi, with the stop.
Can we all just take a breath and realize we just did a quarter of football and football is back, and how great it feels? I mean, did we think we were going to get here? We finally got here, and it's so much fun to talk football. And for these players, not knowing what was going to happen while they're doing June workouts, are they going to be playing at all? And for them to be padding up and hitting different colored jerseys now, they have to be ecstatic.
Especially as they follow the bottom line today. Virginia and Virginia Tech's game next week has been postponed. Tipped and nearly picked. Braylon Trahan at his safety spot out of Acadiana High School knocked it away.
Boy, what a great job just reading Brock Purdy's eyes. May have waited just a step too long to make that throw. Safety comes over in time. Good coverage anyway. I mean, he's trying to throw it right to the middle there, but Trahan just does a great job of breaking and reading the quarterback's eyes right now.
Talked with Brock Purdy about his work in the offseason. He said, I studied a lot of film, and what I learned is that great quarterbacks know when to throw it away. He's been prone to the turnover over the years. 3rd and 9 over the middle. And there's an Iowa State first down to Xavier Hutchinson.
Yeah, to continue on what you were saying, Tom, he just felt he was always trying to make the big play like he did on 2nd down here. 3rd down, he knows he needs 9. I talked about in the open his ability to slide. Ball still a little bit behind, but obviously great job of catching it by Hutchinson, the junior college transfer. But that's where Purdy does a great job. Little off. He's definitely off on his throws. We're seeing definitely some rust on the throwing of both these quarterbacks that certainly the preparation or the lack thereof could have a lot to do with as another 2 tight end set for Iowa State.
And the surprise is because Purdy came in as the 2nd most efficient active quarterback behind Trevor Lawrence. Nwangu with the carry.
So we talked about
Gilbert, Arizona. Yeah, go ahead.
Talk about all the records that he has. You know, set 18 last year, and there's only one other active quarterback in FBS that had a higher passer efficiency rating. That's Trevor Lawrence. I mean, the arrows are pointing up on Purdy. It certainly looks like he's knocking off a little bit of rust here. But I think as this game goes on and the season goes on, he's going to be able to really show his wares of what he and this offense was able to do last year.
And it looks like both offenses stuck in the mud here early on, which should be no big surprise given everything they've been through. Here's Nwangu off the right side. And that'll leave third.
Fellas, I was on.
And a long one. Cole.
I was just going to tell you, Tom, I was almost a little more impressed that Brock Purdy told us he learned how to play piano during quarantine. Taught himself. Said he had the Adele, Somebody Like You, as his go-to. Also picked up a few Alicia Keys tracks on the piano during quarantine. We all found a new hobby, right?
The quarterbacks. You know what? The quarterbacks are always so versatile. I bet he golfs really well, too. Well, quarterbacks golf well because they're not allowed to get hit in practice.
Well, he had plenty of time in Florida to do so. He and his family went on spring break just outside of Orlando, and they were stuck there for about a month working out with his brother Chubba, who's now quarterback at Florida State. On 3rd and 2, Nwangu maybe not. Looks like the spot's going to be just short. It's going to bring up 4th and short near midfield.
Boy, decision right here. Great job on defense by Louisiana, crowding the line. I would imagine Iowa State. I mean, look at the old linemen. They're pointing. They want to go for it. The big Hogs always want to go forward. I think this would be a good time to go for it. Set that tone. Your offense hasn't really gotten in sync. This could kind of be a good morale booster to say, okay, they're putting it on our shoulders. Let's get this 1 yard and keep this thing going.
They'll stay on the field. They were one of the worst in the country on 4th down conversions last season. Reese Hall in a tailback. This will be a QB sneak, and Purdy takes it across that yellow line.
That's that 6'1" quarterback just ducking in, Cole, behind that big offensive line, pushing forward. You had to love that when you were O-lining at Auburn, just having that quarterback tuck in right behind you.
Well, it's just bear crawl. I would get a 4-point stance, Mike, and I just put the shoulder blade on a quad, try to move a guy back a little bit. But the big test there for Taylor Humphrey, 99, in this Louisiana defense, a guy in the middle that they have high expectations for. It feels like they can change their look this year.
6'5", 333. By the way, Derek Schweiger, surprise start at right guard, beating out Robert Hudson. They run that way. Here's Purdy, and he'll get to the sideline. 10 minutes to go here. Let's go to the studio, West Virginia and Eastern Kentucky.
All right, Matt Barry with another studio update. And what about Letty Brown leading West Virginia early on for that Neil Brown? 2nd year for West Virginia. Him and the head coach, Letty Brown, gets in there. 10-yard run. Then Jarrett Dagey to Brown out of the backfield. 2 touchdowns, effective early. Right now, West Virginia up 14-0 over Eastern Kentucky.
They don't seem to be missing the 11 players that were suspended for this game, including 3 starters.
Sure don't. Listen, whenever that happens, first thing I think of, opportunity for next man up.
Brock Purdy didn't like what he was getting from the sideline. Uses the timeout with 2nd and 4 upcoming. 9:35 to go in a scoreless game from Ames, Iowa, between Louisiana and Iowa State. Our focus for the Extra Yard for Teachers Week, an annual effort led by the College Football Playoff Foundation to bring college football together to support and celebrate teachers across the country. Thanks to the CFP, ESPN is honored to donate $20,000 this week to help support teachers and their students. To learn more about Extra Yard for Teachers, follow at CFP Extra Yard. Mom Maria played volleyball at Notre Dame, assistant professor of law, and his dad, Randall, the head of hydrodynamic modeling at Oklahoma.
That was my my major and minor at Notre Dame, both those things right there.
It has nothing to do with the waterbed, so I think that's a false statement that you just made.
I made plane models all the time.
Oh, there you go. Here's play action over the middle and incomplete. Bounced off of Hutchinson, who they've already targeted a number of times today.
Wow, we've seen a couple of drops on both sides. That pass for Purdy, who's been off a little bit today, that one looked right on the money to Hutchinson. Oh, boy, just right in his hands. Just didn't look it all the way in. Easy pitch and catch there, except we forgot the catch part.
Well, there's a difference when you throw all summer with your guys or on the field and there's no defense out there. It looked like Hutchinson had his eye on number 0. Campadescla. 3rd down 4. Hall, the tailback. Purdy to the slant. Another drop.
Wow.
That one up the hands of Sean Shaw.
Again, this could be the rust. I mean, now, when we talked to the coaches, they said they felt like they got enough practice in, but the whole offseason rhythm is thrown off. But once they got to start to work out and throw, I mean, they all felt like they got enough work in. Come July and August, they were able to run NFL-type OTAs with the extra time before they put the pads on in August. But we are really seeing some rust here.
Eric Guerrer back to receive this punt from Joe Rivera. It's a second drive of 10 plays or more that has ended in 0 points. One for each side. He takes a fair catch. 9:19 to go in this scoreless first half from Ames. Hitting off season for the Ragin' Cajuns. Offensive line coach DJ Looney, at just 31 years old, passed away after a heart attack during a team workout. He was in his 3rd season with the program. He played at Mississippi State and was a GA for Dan Mullen there, also Central Arkansas, and at the University of Georgia as a graduate assistant. He was full of life to everyone we spoke with. That includes our own Cole Kublik. Cole, you knew DJ, you know the family well. What can you say about the man?
He was a high school teammate of my brother at Oak Mountain in Birmingham, Alabama, and a guy, Tom, that just always had a smile on his face. He was always happy to see you. He always made you feel important. And then moving into a profession like coaching that can give you a lot of reasons to not necessarily be a happy, cheery person. The hours, the stress that you put into the job, he was always somebody that never let him affect him. He was pure joy, and he was a rising star in the coaching profession, following his career playing at Mississippi State. And then obviously, as an offensive line coach in college, we have a lot in common and a lot to talk about. It's a tragic loss for the college football and coaching profession. DJ will be missed. This team has a lot of really cool things that they're going to do to honor him this season. And I talked to Coach Rob Sell about him, a guy that was one of his best friends, lived right down the street. And he said, you know, the hardest part is it's not out of sight, out of mind. I told my players, we're not just going to get over this. We are going to manage this. He speaks to DJ's mother every single day. And his mother told them after it happened, said DJ would want you to get up off the ground and get going and get back to work. And Coach Sale told me that's exactly what they did.
They face 2nd and 10 behind DJ Looney's offensive line, which has done a great job today. Chris Smith with the carry. Mentioned the offensive coordinator, Rob Sale, who shares offensive line duties with DJ. And he even, as to be expected, got emotional talking about his dear friend when we discussed him yesterday.
Yeah, he did. He said managing is the word they're using. They're trying to manage with this every day. But as Cole mentioned, they got a huge lift when it was DJ's mother who told that team, just get up and get going. You know, that's what he would want you to do. And I think that really, through sadness, sparked them to say, okay, we got to do it for him.
On 3rd and 8, Lewis gets hit and lobs it downfield. Jaquan Bailey brought the pressure.
Jaquan Bailey showed his hops as well. Wow. Just jumped over the would-be blocker and was in the face again of Levi Lewis. So this is coming right square at him. So Levi sees him. He knows he's there and has to get rid of the ball. Look at this ability. Wow. Incredible. A guy who's tied for the career sacks record at Iowa State with Sean Moorhead, looking for that one today to break that record. That was incredibly athletic.
Reese Burns gets it away. And Tariq Milton picks up maybe 2 on the return. Now playing this weekend and Monday on ESPN. Later today we'll have the U.S. Open Women's Final. The men's final tomorrow at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Tonight at 7:30 Eastern over on ABC. Number 1 Clemson takes on Wake Forest in Winston-Salem. Rockets-Lakers Game 5 is on ESPN at 8 Eastern. And our Monday Night Football Week 1 doubleheader features the Steelers and Giants, followed by Titans-Broncos. It's all now playing this weekend and Monday on ESPN and ABC.
Boy, really looking to see how Ben Roethlisberger comes back with that elbow injury. Joe Judge taking over the Giants now, and what a horrible loss for the Denver Broncos with Von Miller. That foot injury, just that's devastating for that team.
Quick hitter from Purdy out to Breece Hall. Purdy just 5 of 10 through the air after completing 66% of his passes last year.
Yeah, but at least 3 drops. Now, yeah,
right.
Listen, he has not been on mark like he normally is with some of his passes, even if some completions were off the mark. But he has also hit his receivers in the hands, and they've dropped it. So there's a whole lot of look in the mirror to go around between the quarterback and the receivers at this point.
Purdy from Gilbert, Arizona, out of Perry High School, rewrote the record book at Perry. And he gets rid of it on 2nd and 7, a lob incomplete. He was at Perry while Billy Napier was an assistant coach at Arizona State. Napier showed up to recruit him one day in the spring, but never got to see him throw because Brock Purdy was playing paintball in the desert. He was trying to get the last guy. He slid around a cactus. He put his hand right into the cactus. It was not his throwing hand. Had to have surgery to remove the quills. And, well, Billy Napier never got a chance to see Brock Purdy practice that day.
How competitive. Sliding on rocks around a saguaro to get the last shot in. And I asked him, did you hit the guy? Did you get it? He said, no, it wasn't a storybook ending. I missed and then had to go to surgery.
Here's Breece Hall, first down run for the Cyclones, and he's barreling over dudes right over the top of Trahan for a gain of 18.
Well, listen, definitely caught Louisiana thinking it was pass. Easy run right, lineman downfield, getting to that second level. Running back not even touched till 5 yards down the field.
Hall again came into his own about midway through last season. Stopped there. Let's take it back to the studio. Matt Berry.
Guys, it is all West Virginia offense early. Jarrett Dagey this time finds Sam James, and the Mountaineers are just running over Eastern Kentucky in the second quarter. 21-0. Good throw, good catch. All Mountaineers.
Maybe they should spend 11 more guys.
Probably a wake-up call. The guys who are out saying, hey, look how well we played without you.
Milton in motion. It's Hall in the backfield. And another run for the sophomore out of Wichita. 9 rushing touchdowns last season for Iowa State, tied a single-season rookie record.
Put themselves from a 2nd down and long to a 3rd and really manageable here. Good motion to the right, try and get the defense's eyes looking that way, and then go straight up the gut.
Hall really turned it up. He only had 18 carries over the first 5 games and turned it on last 2/3 of the season. Started the final 7. Had a breakout game against West Virginia. 132 yards and 3 touchdowns off the bench. Here's Milton. And Milton picks up the first down deep into the Cajuns' territory.
You're seeing a little more of the quick pass now. Get the ball out. That one on target. We had a receiver hang on to the ball as well. That's the pitch and catch you want in space.
Hall threw a sliver to the goal line. And the ball came loose. Was he down before? It's recovered in the end zone by Chase Allen. But they rule Hall down just inside the 1-yard line.
Oh, Cole, you got to be excited. What a block by the center. Colin Newell, the man that wears no tape, no gloves, no nothing. Just absolutely walled his man. Run right
I hope
behind
he's wearing
him.
something.
Let's see if he gets in. No. I believe the ground caused that fumble.
The runner was down by rule prior to the ball coming loose.
Colin Newell,
in immediate continuing action,
right
the offense recovers the
started
ball.
the first game of last season as well. Missed the rest with an injury, but Matt Campbell told us he and Trevor Downing, the pillars of this Iowa State offensive line, the only 2 with starting experience that returned.
I got to find out if you ever played a game when you were center guard without any tape, gloves, anything, like he's doing right now.
Yeah, I was too cool for that.
Nwangu in the backfield now. A couple of tight ends in front of him. And he follows Allen into the end zone. Touchdown, Iowa State, Kene Nwangu.
Got to feel good, get that first score of the year after being held scoreless in the first quarter. Though last year, their first quarter was the least amount quarter they scored during the entire season, so that was really nothing new. But let's see if that kind of wakes him up now at this point.
An 8-play, 49-yard drive. Connor Asali to attempt the point after. And that one hooks inside the upright. Took the Cyclones a while, but they finally piece it together. Nwangu out of Frisco, Texas, finds the end zone after Bailey brought the pressure.
All right, how did this play look to get to the goal line? You look at the left side, these two linemen responsible for this player and this player. This guy is going to over pursue, and then you have Newell does a great job with the wall off right here to open that crease for the running back. Just that little hole to bounce back through. Great job taking care of your responsibilities, working on that O-line, and the beneficiary gets a nice little crease to take it close to the goal line. Good work up front, though, because it was a moving defense there. Of the two O-linemen that had responsibilities, those guys moved at the snap. One actually took himself out of the play, and they adjusted perfectly to it.
And a play later, Nwangu with his first career touchdown. Eddie Ogamba to kick it off for Iowa State. Chris Smith, Eli Mitchell back. Smith, world-class speed, and he finds a seam and a stiff arm. He's got the 50-yard line in a foot race. He is gone. 95-yard touchdown return for Chris Smith.
Under the notes I have for Chris Smith, speed back. I would say that was an accurate note. Once he got to the open field, no more angles on him. As soon as that happened, he was gone. Nobody has an angle on him now. It is a flat-out foot race. No one able to make up any distance at all there. Great job by him. Great job by the blocking as well. He broke a couple of tackles, but he had a nice lane to run through.
So the Louisville, Mississippi native with his special team score is like he was running to Warrior one stop for the chicken dumplings. Nate Snyder attempt the extra point. And the Raging Cajuns with an answer. Remember, only one top 25 win in their school history. That came with Jake Delhomme at their quarterback position in '96. We are celebrating on the Raging Cajun sideline, and a party now, Lafayette, where they know how to party. They've tied it up on the road thanks to the speed of Chris Smith and a 95-yard kickoff return.
Don't forget, you can vote by mail. For more information, visit IamAvoter.com.
Only the 8th kickoff return for a touchdown in the last 20 years for the Raging Cajuns, and Chris Smith has made it a game again.
Well, that was huge. I mean, you talk about Iowa State maybe getting that score and getting that momentum and trying to build on that. That's one way to, I was going to say quiet the crowd down, but there's not a big crowd. It's certainly a way to quiet the team down. How about that?
By the way, your notes were on point on Smith, the speed.
Short and sweet.
Couple of hops. Nwangu, after picking it up at shortstop, runs it past the 30. Back to the studio. Here's Matt Berry.
Okay, guys, coming up on the Lexus halftime report, North Carolina and Syracuse locked in a close game early on. Plus, that West Virginia offense looked sharp in their first half game. And an update of COVID news around the country. Jesse Palmer, Joey Galloway both join me coming up on the Lexus halftime report.
All right, thanks, Matt. That should be, I mean, it's just great having college football back. Patrick Mensa, sophomore from Baton Rouge at a Catholic high school, is getting his leg looked at, injured on special teams coverage.
Certainly something you don't want to see. But as you mentioned, just so great to have football back. This is certainly an unfortunate part of it. But as I said, these players have to be so happy they're back on the field again, as he's already looks like he's coming up to his feet. Let's hope everything's all right there.
Big 12 Now is a must-have for Big 12 fans. Tonight, Texas Tech hosts Houston Baptist. Kickoff from Lubbock at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com/Big12Now. Elsewhere in Big 12 action, Kansas State has opened up a lead on Arkansas State, 14-7. That was the most disappointing loss for Iowa State last year. Talking with Matt Campbell, he said, I just felt like even though we lost to Notre Dame in the bowl game, our guys were prepared. They put forth great effort. We just ran into a team that was better than us that day. But the Kansas State loss was inexcusable. We weren't ready for that one. We didn't prepare properly. And he's done such a good job, Golic, of building this program. You can understand the disappointment.
Well, I'm going to get to that after this play of what he said about the end of the season and some of the corrections that he had to make.
Play action. Purdy over the middle. Great grab, and that goes for a first down. That's Chase Allen, the senior from Nixa, Missouri.
Big tight end again, a 6'7" target, so even if there's coverage there, he believes his guy can body off the defender. Coverage isn't bad, but he gets the ball there quickly to a 6, right on the inside where he needs to go. That looked more like receivers. Sorry, Tom, that looked more like the Purdy I've seen on tape from last year and watching him play.
And now Hall. And your point, Mike, about the end of the season for Iowa State.
Yeah, so, Coach Campbell said he felt that the coaches and the team were somewhat burned out. He said, listen, I've come from small college. I'm a blue-collar guy. We hit, we run, we play very tough. And he said he believes that cost him, and he had to do some soul-searching of his own to say, okay, we have to find the right timing to do things so everybody is feeling good even at the end of the season. And actually he said, I may be working these guys and running them too much, and it cost him at the end of the year.
2nd and 4, Purdy to roll out on play action, and he will flick that one out of bounds. And it was very interesting talking to the entire coaching staff, but starting with Campbell, saying, over the years I've been a slave to the grind, and maybe there is a more efficient way to do it. And with the disruption that COVID-19 caused, we had to be efficient, and it got me thinking about new ways to go through the process. And maybe they find ways to keep their guys more fresh this season.
And through that COVID, when everybody was away, they said they had a mantra, and it was slow and right. Take things slow and make sure you do it right. And everybody got a chance to really get down the mental part of the game, as the computer was used a whole lot during that off time.
On 3rd and 4, pressure up the middle. Purdy, incomplete. And we're going to flag on the play. They took down Xavier Hutchinson, first flag of the game.
Yeah, and that flag didn't even really need to be there. Didn't even need to happen. Wasn't too close to the receiver. Butler.
Tuda Salam, our white hat today.
Yeah, Butler just really doing something he didn't need to do in that situation.
Pass interference, number 9, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So again, you see, just grabbing the jersey there. He is beat. I don't think the receiver was getting there if he didn't grab the jersey, but that's one of those, my man beat me to the inside. I'm supposed to have him. I need to stop this or it's going to be a big play. So he reaches out and grabs, and it turns out the pass was off mark.
Here's Nwangu again, and he gets folded over right at the line of scrimmage, picks up a yard. Andre Jones out of Lolange, Louisiana with the stop.
I think
1A high school, population 240, Mike.
That is a small town. Wow. It's one of those where everybody knows your name. That could be
I don't know
good.
if that's good or bad.
I was just going to say, that could be good or bad. Oh. It's like we have a big man down for Iowa State.
Yeah, that's Trevor Downing, left guard. Only true returning starter on this offensive line, fellas, and a young man I really enjoyed watching when I put the film on. This would be a big loss for Iowa State. As we talked earlier, Matt Campbell told us he and Colin Newell, the center, the pillars of that offensive line. He's the leader of that group.
He's got a redshirt freshman as his backup, Jared Hufford. We'll see what kind of shuffling they have to do.
So, here's Downing. Someone who was a honorable mention all Big 12 last year as a freshman. Good to see that he's going to get up pretty quickly here. Big men always want to get up on their own. It's like, leave me alone, I'm fine. I guarantee he's going to want to get back in the game right away. I mean, that's just how these big guys are.
Well, Golick, I'm sure you can relate very well to his off-season plans. Once he went into quarantine, he went back home and he worked on Grandpa's farm. Said he would get up at 5:30 every morning, 6 o'clock. Grandpa would have a big breakfast for him. 12 or 13 hours a day planting soybeans on a multi-thousand-acre farm there in Creston, Iowa. And said he had no problem with it. Said he'd still get some workouts in after it sometimes. The only problem he had was Colin Newell, who's from right here in Ames, would come down there with him to the farm every now and then, got the tractor stuck in the mud one day.
I'll tell you what, we think football workouts are hard. I bet when we try and work the farm, we'd be praying to do football workouts instead of that.
No doubt.
Fifth generation family farm, never good when you have to call Grandpa and say, yeah, Colin got the tractor stuck again. When the coaches went down and to recruit him, they all wanted to go for a ride on the combine. Multiple flags down, end zone shot, incomplete. He was the first 2018 prospect offered by this coaching staff when they took over.
I think we may get holding here.
Holding, number 62, offense, 10-yard penalty, second down.
Defender was putting a spin move. You see him come inside, then spin, and he's got his hand around the waist. That's what the ref sees. He ends up falling down. That's what's going to call him. But that hand on the outside around the waist, they're going to call you for it. And as you know, Cole, offensive linemen, they like to hold anyway. But this was a tough one. Defender was spinning on him. They were both going down. Just had that arm around the waist, made it an easy call for the ref.
And that's Noah Jurgensen, who took over for Downing at left guard. Second down, 19. Plenty of room for Shaw. Makes a first man miss. And they're looking at a much more manageable third down now after Podesclo came up with a stop. Pick up a 15.
And that's what they were looking for there, just enough to make it a manageable third down, and it got way more manageable than I think they even thought it was going to be. With Shaw able to break a tackle here, they're just fine with taking up all the time. Under 2 minutes to go in the half. They'll eat up the clock, try and score, and not leave Louisiana any time. They're just fine the way they're going right now. Still have a couple of timeouts left.
Iowa State 4 of 7 on third down today. Tight end open, that's Allen, and he takes it to the 10-yard line. Dad Terry, head coach at Kansas, Northern Iowa, and Missouri State, comes from a football family, and he picked up 16.
Nothing fancy. You see him just off the line. Allen just picks a spot and stops. It's zone defense, so he just picks a hole right in the defense, turns and stops and waits for the throw. Oh, it's a touchdown.
And now Hall bounces to the outside. Touchdown, Iowa State from 11 yards out.
This is kind of that high-octane offense that we were used to from Iowa State last year. They got the defense on their heels a little bit. Just getting the corner here pinned. Great job by Joey Ramos, coming off the initial block, going to the second level and sealing it in, giving an easy corner for Hall and the touchdown. Great job up front.
Fifth-year senior Connor Asali. Iowa State takes its second lead of the game. Last time they took a lead, the kickoff was returned for a score.
That is a nice drive answering the bell after the special teams touchdown for Louisiana. Iowa State not missing a beat. That really, it seems like that offense now way more in sync between the run and the pass. Purdy feeling a lot more comfortable. Throws are on target. Receivers are actually catching the ball now as well. So functioning as a unit at this point. Now it'll be interesting for Louisiana. This is a team, as I mentioned, averaged 41 rushes, 257 yards running the ball. This is not normally a big-time passing team. Minute 17 to go. You have all three of your timeouts. Let's see what they do, and let's see if the speedster, Chris Smith, can give them some great field position again, or what the heck, just take it to the end zone again. Why not?
Eddie Ogamba to kick it off. He's a Reaver out of Iowa Western Community College. And from the 5-yard line. Smith took a 95 last time. Better kickoff coverage out to the 23. 1:10 to go in the half. You ready for today's Affleck trivia question?
Let's do it.
Who's the only quarterback from the Raging Cajuns to start a Super Bowl? He also happens to be the only quarterback from the Raging Cajuns that has defeated a top 25 team back in 1996 when they beat Texas A&M. I may have given too big a hint.
I may know the answer to that.
We're not sitting in a press box. You could have very easily have Googled that. Here's Levi Lewis. Crossing route incomplete. Another drop.
Yeah.
Johnny Lumpkin, the intended receiver.
Tom, that hurts that you think that I would look it up and find out that it was Jake Delhomme. Here's your answer to the question.
You were right. Jake Delhomme. But here's a secondary trivia question. Who is his wide receiver in that game that also played in a Super Bowl?
I don't have time to Google that. You're going to have to tell me.
Brandon Stokely with the Ravens in 2000. That's a pretty good combination. Delhomme and Stokely. And that is a catch for 16 yards.
Boy,
Hauled in by Devin Pauly.
What a great catch. Just got the 1 foot down. All you need in college again. Just gets that left foot down. Great job. Nice pass up high so his receiver could go get it. Gets 1 foot down. Very nice pitch and catch.
Lake Charles native, thoughts and prayers to the folks in that beautiful city hit hard by Hurricane Laura. Raging Cajuns took a semi-trailer full of equipment a couple weeks ago and about 50 players to help. LeBlanc with the drop. We got 3 drops on the Raging Cajun side, 2 by Lumpkin and 1 by LeBlanc.
Still, for them, take a breath. Close to midfield, 54 seconds. They have all 3 timeouts. Again, clock stops on first down, so they can use all the field still. Still time to get down, if nothing else, into field goal range. Even though that didn't go well last time they did it.
Did not. They are 0 for 1. They will drop 8. And against the zone, that's fit in for a first down on the completion to Kyron Lacey, the freshman from Thibodeau.
And we heard we were going to see some freshmen. We saw Lacey, Dante Fleming earlier as a move in this offense.
Again, they rush only 3. A dump off to Mitchell with 36 seconds left. Raging Cajuns have all their timeouts. They'll use their first here.
Good use right now with 30-some seconds to go. Use that first timeout.
30 seconds.
37-yard line again. Still plenty of field that you can use. So we see number 1 Clemson taking on Wake Forest. How about Chris Paul, the Gress picker, picking Wake Forest? I guess that wasn't a shock, right?
No, you kind of had to do it, right?
Yeah, you have to, knowing full well you're most likely going to be wrong.
Who did he pick to win the U.S. Open? Oh, that's the question. We'll have the U.S. Open Women's Championship today at 4 Eastern on ESPN. 2018 champ Naomi Osaka takes on Victoria Azarenka. You can always watch live on the ESPN app.
Serena Williams getting beat in the semis, still needs that one more Grand Slam. I mean, it's been tough for her. You know, she's 38, 39 years old. Been tough for her to get that last one, that one she needs. Time can run out because we know Father Time always wins.
He's undefeated. Snyder warming up on the sideline. They go to a screen. That'll pick up a first down for the Raging Cajuns. Jalen Williams.
Nice shot. Clock stops on the first down. Line up, get another play off. Still 2 timeouts.
The senior Levi Lewis directing this Raging Cajun attack, trying to answer an Iowa State score for the second time. 3-man rush again. Lewis is going to run for it. Scrambles with 14 on the clock.
Now
Stopped short. And they will use a timeout after a pickup of 7.
absolutely in great position to try and get a touchdown out of this. Do not have to go to the end zone just yet. With one timeout to go, try and eat up some of that 18 yards here. Maybe get it inside the 10, between the 5 and the 10. Get yourself a nice play into the end zone.
It's the Louisiana team that's taken to the air here during the 2-minute drill, and they've covered some ground.
And listen, making me look bad. I was the one who said they're such a running team. You know, is this a more of a weakness to them when you run the ball so well? But Lewis making a liar out of me right now, a guy that I like so much at 5'10". I like the way he throws in the pocket. I think he struggles at times throwing on the run. I think he's excellent standing in the pocket. Obviously, when he runs, he can do some damage as well, as we just saw. Now it's 2nd and 3. But if he can throw it in rhythm from that pocket, I really think that's where he's at his best.
And he's done a good job of it on this drive, 4 of 6. On 2nd and 3, 1 timeout left. They'll run it, and it turns into a first down and a little bit more. Elijah Mitchell. Clock will stop with 6 after a gain of 11. And with a face full of sod, they're going to spike it or go for it. They've got a timeout left. It'll be a spike, and it'll stop the clock. Now he's dribbling.
Wow,
it.
yeah.
Now keep in mind, they don't have real whistles, and so the officials with electronic whistles, they may have been a little bit slow to push the button. Jaquan Bailey thinks he should have a scoop and score.
Seemed like the center snapped it before Levi wanted, then he picked it up and then threw it on the ground. Shane Velow at center. No,
Not sure the center judge was clear.
Yeah, he snapped it, and I think Lewis was pushing it to the ground, just trying to do it quickly. I definitely think he was pushing it to the ground. That's my take.
So they're explaining to Billy Napier.
Then we got to make sure that the time is right, because they did that to save a timeout.
Now let's bring in Matt Austin, a rules official. What are they looking at here, Matt?
Hey, Tom, what you've got is the quarterback muffed the snap, and after that, you cannot illegally ground the ball. So when he threw it to the ground a second time, that made it
Illegal
intentional grounding.
pass. Number 1, offense. The player muffed the snap and then grounded the ball illegally. The penalty is 5 yards plus loss of down. It's 3rd down. Louisiana has elected to take their 3rd charge timeout of the half to avoid the 10-second runoff.
Well, Matt, I will never try and make a judgment again, because you just hit the nail on the head there. I thought maybe he was pushing it down with 2 hands to get it done quickly, but as you said, you can't pick it up and throw it down again, correct?
And they're lucky. Matt, great job. You're in midseason form already. They're lucky they had a timeout remaining to avoid the 10-second runoff. The harm is that they don't get a shot into the end zone, but they'll bring on the kicking team anyway. Remember, Nate Snyder missed his first attempt. That was from 27. He was a kickoff specialist at Indiana. He did not attempt a field goal in his 4 seasons at IU. Hadn't attempted a field goal in a game since he was a high schooler at Greenwood, Indiana.
I tell you what, though, Tom, I'm surprised. I'm surprised they didn't take their last time out there, give themselves a good chance to run a play to the end zone.
Is under further review.
And if you don't have a completion, then you can kick the field goal. I'm a little surprised that they went.
Instead of spike, you're saying use a timeout,
use a timeout,
throw a fade, have time, or something,
if you have
a quick
time,
hitter.
If you have time to do that, give yourself a chance instead of rushing up and do that.
And so what have the coaches told us in our meetings this week? They have said, almost to a man, like, we've had enough time to be physical. We've had enough time to hit each other. We haven't had a whole lot of work on some of the situational drills that we would normally run. And so obviously, end of clock, end of half, this is a situation that maybe the Raging Cajuns otherwise didn't get a lot of reps in on.
Now, and again, so from doing that play from the fundamental standpoint, you're absolutely correct. They did not execute this very well. I didn't like the decision to begin with, to try and get back on the line as the clock is running down when you have a timeout. I mean,
well, Mike, it's not just the players who had limited reps. The Raging Cajuns had 2 scrimmages. They tackled in 1. So from a play calling standpoint and managing a 2-minute drill, it's also the coaches that didn't have a whole lot of reps getting ready for this season.
Yeah, completely agree. And it showed there, I think, on the decision to try and clock it, and then obviously the execution of doing it as well. Now, Matt, what are they reviewing here? That's what I'm wondering.
They're looking to see if the quarterback had possession in the first place and then pushed it to the ground with 2 hands. I don't see from the views I've seen how they can change it. It looks like
the ruling on the field of an illegal forward pass is confirmed. 2nd down, Louisiana.
Good job, Matt.
So illegal forward pass.
Yeah, they confirmed that it did hit the ground and it was a muff rather than a forward pass the first time.
I'm not sure what difference it makes in this situation, if any, with 3 seconds left on the clock. Should be the final play of the half, and a 30-yard field goal attempt for Nate Snyder. He was wide right the first time. Raging Cajuns trying to answer an Iowa State score for the second time. And the field goal is good. So Iowa State getting all it can handle from the Raging Cajuns. The Cyclones will receive the second half kickoff. Raging Cajuns trying to bid for their first ever road win against a top 25 team in what is perhaps the most anticipated game in school history. 14-10 is their score at the half. Matt Campbell has high expectations for his program this season. And after a slow start and some sloppy play, they were finally able to put together a couple of touchdown drives. Down to the field, Cole standing by with the Iowa State head coach.
Coach Campbell really felt like the offense got into a rhythm there in the second quarter. What was different about that quarter than maybe the first few drives?
Yeah, and again, I think really good things happened in those first 2 drives. We turned the football over. We kind of stopped ourselves in some situational things. And again, first game of the year, we're kind of playing really hard, but our sloppiness, we got to be able to get fixed in the second half.
Defensively, I know you have to like the way your team has stood up to this Raging Cajun rushing attack. How do you continue that in the second half?
Well, again, it's 11 hats running to the football, and I think that's what's made us really good on the defensive side of the football. Again, we got to shore up tackling a little bit and continue to play really hard.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks so much.
Defense was great. They held him to 61 rushing yards, but gave up a special teams touchdown. Let's get to the studio. Matt, Jesse, enjoy. It's all yours, gang.
Gentlemen, appreciate you. Time now for the Lexus halftime report. Jesse Palmer.
The official pizza of college football. Order now at pizzahut.com. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Time now for our Saturday preview, brought to you by Geico. Joey, give me a game on this list you're excited for.
I want to see Notre Dame versus Duke. Ian Book returns, but he loses his top 3 receivers, including Clay Claypool, and then Tony Jones, their top rusher, gone. What is this offense going to look like for Notre Dame?
I'm excited to see Clemson on offense. Outside of Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne, a lot of new faces, 4 new offensive linemen, some new receivers. So how quickly can they gel on the road at Wake Forest?
End result, gentlemen, we've got a full slate of college football to sit back and watch.
This halftime report is presented by Lexus. Experience amazing.
Tell you something, don't you sleep on Billy Napier and these Raging Cajuns. They're in one today in Ames against Iowa State. Chris Smith Jr., 95 yards for the touchdown, 14-10. Back to the second half after this.
(14-10) the score at the half as we get ready to start the second. Tom Hart, Mike Golick, Cole Kublik, the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana trying to hang with the Cyclones of Iowa State, the 23rd ranked team in the country. Both programs coming in with high expectations and both sloppy in the first half to an extent. Yeah. But a flurry of scores to close the second quarter.
Yeah, Louisiana ending the half on a score, momentum to them. But I liked the last drive of Iowa State, the way they went down the field and scored. Let's see if they can pick it up from that point.
We've already seen one kickoff return for a score in this game, and a solid return out past the 30-yard line for Nwangu. Welcome back, Tom Hart in Atlanta, Georgia. Mike Golick in Bristol, Connecticut. Time now to take a look at our hardest working player, brought to you by Duluth Trading Company.
Yeah, that's going to be Breece Hall, running back for Iowa State. 12 carries, 84 yards, and 1 touchdown. You see the holes there for him, so he's going to be our hardest working guy. But I'm going to tell you what, guys up front, and he'll know that when he watches tape the next day, that those guys have been giving him huge holes to run and not even getting touched till the second level. But he is the hardest working man right now. And Tom, by the way, wonderful picture of your dog in the background there.
Yeah, that's Larry. That's Larry. He's a huge Big 12 fan. As Breece Hall has no gain on first down. He's watching over us. Literally, he's upstairs. We don't allow him in the basement here in Atlanta.
I would love if you let the good boy down there. That would be fantastic.
There's your hardest working player, Breece Hall, 6.5 a carry. Purdy, 9 of 16 for 100 yards on the dot in this game after a slow start found his rhythm.
Yeah, he was off, but his receivers as well with some drops. So let's see that last drive. They all got it together. We'll see if they can keep going.
Fake toss to Milton, and Purdy fires low and incomplete. Trying to find Hutchinson. How does Brock Purdy look different to you today than what you saw on film?
Well, just not as accurate. You know, he's a guy that makes great decisions. As I mentioned, even moving in the pocket, but great decisions, looks off extremely well, picks up coverages extremely well. His throws are just off. I mean, and again, do we go to the preparation? It wasn't much, even though they're not making excuses for that at all. They feel they got the work they needed to get in, but I think it is just showing a lot of work in the offseason that you get they weren't able to get this year.
On 3rd and 10, Purdy pressured, steps away from both of them, and he's able to pick up a first down and then tacks on a couple more. Cole Kublik, you talked with Billy Napier at the half. What did the Cajuns head coach say?
Well, he feels pretty good about things, Tom. He said they're slowing the game down just like he expected, but they need to get that run game going. Expect a little bit more of an attack on the perimeter on the ground for the Cajuns. And then he said that tempo may show up again because they felt pretty good about how it looked just before the end of the first half.
It was a great close to the half for Levi Lewis and company. Completed 4 passes on that last drive for 67 yards. They'll run right with Breece Hall. And Hall picks up 9.
He just keeps getting that corner. That's good blocking up front. But Louisiana's got to stop getting outflanked. Whoever's responsible for the outside, keep that outside leverage. And it's not getting done. They're getting pinned in. You see Breece starts a little bit of a look like a cutback, and you see the defense kind of slow with him, and then he gets that corner. You have outside responsibility, keep outside responsibility. Even if you don't make the tackle, you make the running back cut back, and all your friends are coming from the inside there, but you've got to be able to turn them back inside.
Leaves Iowa State with 2nd and 1. They had rain showers come through Ames yesterday and last night, and there's a first down carry for Johnny Lang Jr. Cole, what are the field conditions like? What's the weather like today in Ames?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's football weather. It's overcast. It's 61-2, so it's not too hot. Field condition, I was a little worried about it. It's rained since I've been here for 48 hours, but the field actually drained extremely well. Grass is in beautiful shape, thick cut grass, and I don't think it's too slick. So field conditions, wonderful. Football weather as it's not 100 degrees like it usually is this time of year.
Yeah, it looked like Hall had a little bit of issue on that cutback on his previous carry, and great penetration from the safety, Cam Pedesclo. He takes down Lang, a loss of 3.
Trying to force the issue there again, coming up from the outside. Excellent job. When you do it, you got to make that play. That's one where you can't let him break the tackle, come up high, and almost just clipped him on the feet. Again, keep that outside leverage. Excellent play. Excellent play, got him down. That's all that matters there to put him in a 2nd and long.
One of the college football rule changes for this season, 0 is now a legal jersey number. Pedesclo wasted no time grabbing that digit.
That's movement. It's going to be 2nd and 18.
Oh, and a throwdown well after the whistle. Chauncey Maddock. Now, here was an issue that has been raised already through a week of college football, is the inability to hear these electronic whistles on the field.
False start, so second and 18.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 75, offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
And Cole, I'm wondering, the refs, we had heard we're going to have those electronic whistles, as you see the left tackle moving early, on their belts. But then it seemed like last week some of them were like, okay, we can't get to it quick enough. So they were starting to hold them in their hands. Can you tell out there, do they have them in their hands or on their belt, these electronic whistles?
Yes, going to the bell, but I will tell you, the noise is faint when it's live action. When everything stops and it's calm, you can hear it a little bit better, but I barely heard that whistle that was live in the last play.
It leaves second and 18. Purdy wanted the flat, and what a grab on a leaping catch over Podesplo. It's Xavier Hutchinson, who has a couple of drops today, but that one hauled in for 13.
I talked about the big targets. This is the smallest of the big targets at 6'3". This was almost a ball that never should have been thrown, but I tell you what, Purdy put it in a space where either his guy was going to get it or nobody was going to get it. Knowing his guy is 6'3", that's where you say, okay, there's the advantage. We're going to try and take advantage of it up there against Percy Butler, who is 6 foot himself, but still a 3-inch advantage and a heck of a leap.
Only the second catch on 7 targets for Hutchinson today. 3rd down 5. Blitz coming from the edge. Purdy on the run, incomplete. Chase Allen, the intended receiver, covered by Farrod Gardner, the senior linebacker.
Yeah. Sidelines are for Iowa State yelling they wanted interference there. Being a former defensive player, I'm going to say let's let that go and let him play. Being an analyst, I'm going to say maybe they should have flagged that one. Matt, of course, Matt Austin, our rules official, and is saying, yeah, they should have flagged that one.
2 flags apiece in this game. Relatively clean first half. 4th and 5. Iowa State converted a 4th down in the first half. Pressure from the middle this time, and incomplete. Fantastic coverage on the perimeter by Ashlyn Washington. And they'll turn Iowa State over on downs.
That is great coverage. Here's a guy that finished the route the way the wide receiver was running the route. Keeps the offhand away, puts the left hand on the ball, incomplete. Louisiana ball when we come back.
The Dr. Pepper Championship Drive Game of the Week.
Jack Trice Stadium, Ames, Iowa. The 23rd ranked Cyclones with a 14-10 lead on the Ragin' Cajuns from Louisiana. Levi Lewis with play action, looking deep. That's covered, and he checks it down to find his receiver for a pickup of 5. Well, Iowa State did a fantastic job against this great running game for the Cajuns.
Boy, they sure did, and this is how Louisiana makes their bread and butter, is makes their money by the runs, and a great job of either penetrating or holding your responsibility. What gap do you have? Stay in that gap, make the tackle. And what they've been able to do to this Louisiana team certainly shows up as far as wins and losses. We'll show you in just a second on the 2nd and 5.
Regas the runner here, and he gets popped before picking up the first down.
Going to be 3rd and short, but this is how rushing related to winning last year for Louisiana. And the wins, obviously, they ran it extremely well. The losses, 148 yards. They only had 61 yards at halftime and averaged 3.5 yards a carry. So you see they better pick it up, or this may go in the L column.
2 of those losses against a team they've had a hard time catching up within the league. That's Appalachian State. Regas picks up the first down. App with a lead at home in Rainy Boone against Charlotte over on ESPN2, 14-10. They're on their 3rd different coach in 3 years.
Can't say that about these 2 teams. Very happy with their coaches right now. Young guys that have really helped build both programs.
Scott Satterfield went to Louisville. Eli Drinkwitz to Mizzou. Great penetration up front. They swallow up Regis. And it's a loss of 2. Joshua Bailey, the brother of Jaquan Bailey.
Again, vertical aggressiveness is what John Haycock wants as a D coordinator. Up the field, reestablish the line of scrimmage a yard or 2 behind, so even if you don't make the tackle, you're going to make the back go east and west before you can go north and south. Here, he was able to make penetration, did Bailey, and make the tackle. You got a 2 for them. That's 2 stars. That's 2 checks on the tape.
Well, they got a 2 for when they visited the Bailey home. Got Joshua and Jaquan. Joshua, the older brother, by all of 9 minutes. On 2nd and 12, deep ball. And they get tripped up. It was way over the head of Golden McKay.
And for Levi Lewis, he told us this was the biggest thing he worked on in the offseason was the deep ball. He and his receivers, they wanted to get way better at this. Hey, where do you want it? How far out in front of you? There was a lot of work with these. Here, there was not a good connection. The ball well overthrown. On that, again, 8 deep, though, just a 3-man rush. So it was good coverage there, but the receiver had no chance there. That was something Levi felt he needed to work on, but wasn't able to connect there.
See if they bring pressure. Lewis on 3rd and 12. 4-man front this time. Lewis flush from the pocket, and they take him down. And Iowa State sacked their 3rd of the day. It was Will McDonald with his 2nd.
So again, the last play, 3-man rush, 3rd and long. They go to a 4-man rush. It's a straight 4-man rush. Look at outside to the right, going through the tackle, going through the back, and just chases them down. I mean, a great play, just nothing fancy, just a 4-man rush. Actually, 2 guys had a shot to block him, and neither could. McDonald gets the block, gets the sack.
But he was magnificent late. That now gives him 7 sacks over his last 5 games, dating obviously to last year. Burns punts it away. Tariq Milton. Oh my gosh, a clothesline as that one came down. It was DJ Miller who turned into the return man.
Wow, he was hit immediately. See what the calls. I did see a ref with his hat off on the sideline.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 6, receiving team. Half the distance to the goal, first down, Iowa State.
You know what they're going to call here? Watch him get up and do the double bicep. I believe that's what they're going to call. He got up after the play and did like a double bicep pose. And I believe that's what they're going to call him on. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of that, if that is exactly what the call. We'll find out for sure and let you know when we come back.
Coming tomorrow on Sunday NFL Countdown, Joe Montana, Brett Favre, and Peyton Manning share their experiences on ending a career elsewhere before Tom Brady's first game as a Buck. Plus, Randy Moss ranks the best catches from today's college football action, and You Got Mossed. Kick off your Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. Let's clean up this play on the punt.
Right here, keep an eye right there. Rory Walling, number 6 for Iowa State. After the play, I completely screwed that up. I thought it was on Louisiana, number 6, but it was on Walling late. Absolutely unnecessary to do. Cost your team yardage.
And it's going to back Iowa State up, holding on to a 4-point lead. The give to Breece Hall will go nowhere. They smother him for a loss of a couple.
So right there, you see on that play, Trevor Downing not back in the game. We saw him walk off the field in the first half. Noah Jurgensen took his place, number 62. And Noah just got pushed back into the backfield on that play. Nowhere for Breece to go on that.
Cole, is it as simple then as it just running on the other side if Jurgensen's not giving you what you need?
Well, you can't limit your playbook. You still have to run the plays. He's also working on a 330-pounder that's 22% body fat.
Wow.
Say that like it's impressive. The big sauce, Taylor Humphrey over there. Screen blown up. It's Pedescalo again, number 0 showing up big. Loss of 3. 2 consecutive plays go the wrong way for the Cyclones.
That's a 5'9", 181-pounder going against a 6'7", 240-pounder in Chase Allen, who's got to block him. That's his responsibility. He can't even get out there. Tedesco uses his speed to beat the block. Great job getting up, making the play. 3rd and 16. Third and 16 and still 2 tight ends in the game. It's an Iowa State offense.
Pressure coming up the middle. Purdy. Juggling, incomplete, and taken away.
Oh, absolutely taken away.
Cajuns, Ashland Washington just stole it from Xavier Hutchinson.
And by the way, Ashland Washington, I'm going to say he's earned that. He has had some great coverage today, great coverage, and it finally pays off now, staying alive, keeping the ball alive, and just taking it right out of the arms of the receiver. Up in the air, in the arms, it's a fight for it, and Washington wins that fight. There's some these receivers for Iowa State have been well covered. They're bigger, so a lot of times you think they can wall off, but the coverage has been so good, especially by Washington, and they're a big, big turnover for the Cajuns. Oh, love
Washington
that
had 3 picks last year and only 1 start. Gets his first pick here. And he gets a turnover, spikes, whatever you want to call it. The Cajuns have the football inside the 15. They fake the end around, straight ahead Smith, and he gets popped for 3.
Am I the only one that would, because maybe of my age, the Road Warriors and wrestling, what that looks like?
No, that's fair.
Okay. Hey, we're seeing all kind of things on the defensive sidelines for, you know, that chain down in Miami and at the U, and so many teams starting to do things now. I've seen sledgehammers. I've seen guys write their Twitter handle on a board after a turnover. I mean, they're certainly having some fun.
Did Miami break out the turnover rings the other night against UAB? Big win for transfer quarterback Derek King. Incomplete. The timing seemed off at the beginning of that one. Trying to find Jalen Williams, who walked on at LSU after playing in the Red Sox organization, drafted in 2013 by Boston. That was the same year a guy by the name of Aaron Judge went to the Yankees.
Say that's worked out pretty well for the Yankees.
Not bad.
Yeah. Could you imagine him in a football uniform, Aaron Judge?
Iowa State might have 4 tight ends on the field if Aaron Judge was wearing that uniform.
You're not kidding.
On 3rd and 8, the screen to LeBlanc, and that's going nowhere. And now the Cajuns have to make a field goal to make sure that they didn't waste that fantastic defensive effort. Ryan Vance to stop.
Yeah, and again, even though, you know, the positioning on the field, they still just rush 3 and drop 8. They are not giving Louisiana many places down the field to throw the ball. They say, go ahead and throw it underneath. We don't care. We'll just run to the ball and make the play for a short gain, and now you're kicking a field goal with a player who's missed one and made one. We'll take our chances there.
He's missed from 27. He's made from 30. This is another 30-yard attempt for the junior from Greenwood, Indiana, Nate Snyder. And he hooks it. He's missed right, he's missed left, and a missed opportunity for the Raging Cajuns, who are desperate for their first ever road win against a ranked team. Defense got him in great position. Offense and special teams couldn't cash in. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Geico, as we continue Dr. Pepper's Championship Drive Game of the Week. Kicking an issue for the Raging Cajuns, Kenneth Almendares, the sophomore from Texas, getting loose. The starter, Nate Snyder, has missed 2 of his 3 field goal attempts to transfer from Indiana. I suppose, Mike, there's 2 ways that goes. Either a coach tells you to start warming up, or you just say, you know what, he's missed 2, I'm going to get loose.
Well, Tom, I definitely think Almendares will be kicking the next field goal, but I think that may even be a question of when they get into field goal situations. Do they now play for 4 downs if they're not confident in their kicking game anymore? We'll see.
Brees Hall, second carry, picks up 2. So on schedule here on third down.
Kai Garner coming up with a big hit. And Iowa State, again, that last drive before half was without question their best drive. They have not been able to really get going, and give Louisiana defense a lot of credit for that. We had early drops by Iowa State, but as of late, we've had better play by the Raging Cajun defense, and certainly incredible play by Asen Washington on that last interception.
Purdy forced from the pocket right, and never got rid of the football. Taken down from behind by Farrod Gardner. Back-to-back big plays for the senior from Dayton, Ohio.
Sean Foster, the left tackle, just late. I mean, does not get a good step here at all. He starts to slide down. Gardner comes on the outside. He tries to recover, but by then, now you're going backwards around a 45-degree angle while Gardner's running forward. That's a no-win situation. Foster sliding down first to the right, not able to come back and get a good enough hand on Gardner. Another punt.
Joe Rivera to punt it away. Eric Guerrero has room for a return, and that room dissipated quickly. 56-yard punt, -1 on the return. The 51st season of Monday Night Football kicks off with our annual Week 1 doubleheader. Steelers and Giants face off at MetLife at 7 Eastern. Then we head out to Denver for Titans Broncos. Both games on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app.
Bunch of Devion Clowney with the Titans there, reunited with Mike Vrabel again. They were together with the Houston Texans. Clowney said that's the reason he wanted to go to Tennessee, to play for Mike Vrabel. I'd be interested to see the impact he can give them out there.
Levi Lewis back to work. Iowa State suffocated the Raging Cajuns ground game in the first half. A team that was 6th in the country in rushing last year. Deep ball coming from Lewis, behind coverage, caught, first down and more Cajuns. Peter LeBlanc takes it all the way for a 78-yard score. Lewis worked all offseason on the deep ball, and he cashes in as the Cajuns take their first lead of the day.
Wow, he was so excited in talking to us about how he was looking forward to getting that deep ball. We talked to Rob Sales, said he also worked on the play action as well. You got them both there. Good play action, all you need to step in. He laid that ball out there perfectly for LeBlanc for the score.
They switched kickers as expected. Kenneth Almendarez for the point after, and he muscles it through. Raging Cajuns have a field goal advantage on the road in Ames, looking for their first ever top 25 road win.
Oh, he has been itching all offseason to do this more and do it better, and you don't do it much better than that. Again, the play action help. If it freezes just for that split second, LeBlanc just absolutely running by the defender there. DJ Miller had nothing to do as far as that part of it with the play action. Give LeBlanc all the credit in the world for running flat by him, and then Lewis. You know, there are times you see either big overthrows, we saw one earlier with him, or an underthrow on a long ball. He said he and his receivers have worked so much on that long ball, and boy, what a chance for a payoff for a team that's 1-32 against ranked teams, to now be in the lead in the third quarter on the road against a Big 12 opponent, Iowa State.
They're 1-20 all time against Big 12 teams. That lone win coming against Kansas in 2009. That Campbell squad on the ropes here. 2:02 to go in the third quarter. Owangu and Milton back to receive this kick from Nate Snyder. And it'll carry him into the end zone.
Boy, I can tell you guys, this Iowa State sideline was silent after that touchdown. Not a lot of chatter, not a lot of guys walk around saying anything to one another. Pretty much silent until they were going to take the field here again.
Well, this is what you call, and Cole, you'll know, this is the old character tester right here, right? A game you're favored in, a game you're at home, and all of a sudden you're getting stopped on offense. They just put a big score on you the other way, and now you come out, you have not been solid on offense at all outside of that last drive of the second half. This is a character tester.
Iowa State played in a lot of close games last year. They've become a winning program. 3 straight winning seasons for the first time since 1978. And on a crossing route, the Cyclones will turn this into a gain of 9 on first down. It's Sean Shaw Jr.
Again, he had all the time in the world. Crossing route takes a little bit of time to develop. You run off deeper routes, cross your man over the middle. Easy pitch and catch there that we said earlier in the game didn't look as easy when you had some drops or some poor throws. Let's see what kind of rhythm they can get into on 2nd and 1. Take the easy route of an easy run here. This one you can take a little bit of a shot as well.
Purdy now 12 of 23 for 119. They go to Breece Hall, and he fights forward, and we'll see where the spot is. They're going to have him short.
Andre Jones had a chance to get 2-3 yards in the backfield. You know, those are some of the big differences here. You have a 3rd and 1 instead of the possibility of a 3rd and 4. When you go the next day, you look at certain plays. Did it cost you here or there? Jones mad about himself on that one, so let's see though he and that defense can make up for it now on 3rd and 1 and get another stop.
Raging Cajuns defense has come up with some big plays this game. Purdy has one sneak. This time will hand it off to Hall. Hesitated, got a push, and he picks up the ISU first down.
Off of extremely ugly exchange. That did not go as planned, but the O-line got enough of a push for Hall to just go forward and get the first down, get a new set of downs. That wasn't the prettiest thing in the world, but you know what? Pretty doesn't matter if it gets done. Behind the man with no gloves and no tape. Still amazes me. Colin Newell, the center.
Hometown kid out of Ames High School. They don't have to snap the ball, and they likely won't to end the quarter. What a ball game. Kickoff of college football season for Louisiana and Iowa State. The Raging Cajuns trying to spring an upset. They got a 3-point lead headed to the 4th. ESPN College Football presented by Geico. Ames, Iowa, the site. If you can't come to the stadium, I guess you go to the library, but you can stick around and watch the 4th quarter, right? Because it should be a doozy. Louisiana trying to spring the upset, leading the 23rd ranked team in the country. Lee Napier's team have been fantastic closing out games throughout his career as a head coach at Louisiana. Iowa State football. Brock Purdy gets turned around in the backfield and lobs it incomplete. Farrod Gardner pressured him again. He's been sensational for the Cajuns today. And what a job Billy Napier's teams have done when holding on to a lead.
I'd say that's pretty good. You don't really get much better than that, do you, Tom?
No. Tough to be better than perfect.
To go along with that, on the other side, Iowa State by far last year, their best scoring quarter was the 4th quarter. 139 points in the 4th quarter, the only quarter they had for the year over 100 points. So this is their quarter. They normally make hay.
See if Purdy can find his rhythm. Been hard to grasp today. Out of the grasp is Hutchinson, who's got a few drops, and he turns it in to a gain of 5. They thought that was a late hit, but Matt Campbell won't get an extra flag on Jaron Wilson.
Again, here are the little things. Defender comes up and can make the play and make it 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. Breaks that tackle. Now it's 3rd down and 5. Certainly different in the playbook when you look at a game plan of 3rd and 7 plus or 3rd and 5 or less.
Iowa State 7 of 13 on 3rd down today. Purdy.
Oh,
diving Diving catch made.
No, he dropped it.
Incomplete. Chase Allen couldn't squeeze it. Braylon Trahan had the coverage.
I think that one again, Purdy, he had his hands on it. They say if you have your hands on it, you got to come down with it, but a little wide, I think, on the pass. I'm sure Chase, when he looks at it, is going to say, I got to catch that. I got both hands on the ball. I got to catch it. Great stop again for Louisiana.
Boy, Farrod Gardner in the face of Brock Purdy again for that Raging Cajun defense.
Joe Rivera to punt it away. Eric Guerrero.
Oh boy.
To the 30, to the 40. He's to midfield and in a sprint, and he takes it inside the 30. It's a second kick return for a score for the Raging Cajuns today, and they're raging in Acadiana. Chris Smith took 195. Eric Guerrero takes the punt, 84.
Absolutely incredible. Nice move, nice lanes that he has here. Unfortunately, Iowa State just not able to make the plays. Got to cover your angles there. Not able to do it. Just a great job of using speed.
So officially an 83-yard punt return. It was preseason second team all-conference in the Sun Belt as a returner. Almendarez for the point after, and he punches it through. Louisiana hasn't won a game against a top 25 team since 1996 against Texas A&M. That remains their only top 25 victory in their school history, and they are running towards top 25 win number 2.
Studio update. Not the only surprise developing early on in the early games. Lane Hatcher to Giles Amos. And right now, Arkansas State tied with Kansas State 21 apiece. Checking in on North Carolina Syracuse. Javonte Williams punches it in. Right now, Tar Heels up 17-6 over on the ACC network.
Right, Matt, a lot closer than the experts expected in Chapel Hill. And this one turned on its ear, with Louisiana holding on to a 10-point lead on the road against number 23, Iowa State. And special teams coverage good by the Cajuns. Now let's take a look at today's Colors of Tradition, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. We take you back to September 14th, 1996. Raging Cajuns quarterback Jake Delhomme with a second quarter touchdown pass to Cody Romero. USL, as they were known then, up 21-7. A&M rallied, took a 1-point lead in the fourth, but then Britt Jackson with a laissez-faire pick six. 2-point conversion was good. USL won 29-22. After the game, they carried the goalposts off. My goal, and get this, the campus police made them stop and take the goalposts back to campus.
Oh, come on. It's just the youth having a little bit of fun.
That's the only top 25 win in school history. Jake Delhomme's wide receiver Brandon Stokely had a pretty good NFL career as well. Purdy with a 7-yard scramble. Again, it's Farrod Gardner, who might be your defensive player of the game today for the Cajuns.
Boy, he on defense. Guerrero with obviously the return, and Chris Smith with the kick return. Incredible what's going on from the return yardage. The way this defense really, the offense, in all honesty, for Louisiana has never really gotten in sync. But the defense really been playing well against what is a high-powered record-setting offense for Iowa State last year.
And there's your proof. More return yards and total offensive yards. Purdy hooks up with Xavier Hutchinson for Iowa State first down.
So again, that was the plan coming in. Sorry, Mike. The plan coming in for this Raging Cajun defense was to play a lot of man coverage. They felt like it wasn't something that they see week in, week out a ton of, and that they could have success against these receivers at Iowa State.
Up into a zone here, and they work it out to Breece Hall.
And again, talking about off Cole, what you said, the man coverage, they know Iowa State has the big receivers, and they said they just needed to take up the space. They needed to body up and be there. And we've seen players like Axon Washington doing an incredible job on that, of eating up that space, not letting the size affect them on the defensive side.
On 2nd and 3, Hall will keep the legs churning, might be close. A reminder, Iowa State is playing today without their second-team All-America tight end, Charlie Kohler. He's out with a lower body injury. Hall picks up the first down 3 minutes into the final quarter. Iowa State trying to make up a 10-point deficit.
And also their best lineman, Trevor Downing, the sophomore, he has not played at all this second half. He went out under his own power, but he has not returned to the game.
Purdy has time to dial one deep. Got a man open, overthrew him. Trying to find Landon Akers.
Akers basically a special team guy here. This is one you got to hit. This is one maybe not used to. Receiver quarterback with these two. Just an overthrow there. This is going to be interesting for Purdy. He told us, you know, one of the big things that he needed was patience this year. Don't make every play a big play. Listen, they're down. You see they're down 10 points. They have time. Don't try and make every play a big play. They had a chance there with an open receiver, but still methodically they have time to move down the field.
Purdy off of his back leg, lobs it up, incomplete.
This again, great man coverage by Louisiana, nowhere for Purdy to go. And then at the end, once the pressure starts coming, what he does, instead of there throwing it away, he says, all right, I got my guys who are taller, and so I'm going to have them try and win a jump ball situation because they have the size advantage. But give Louisiana a ton of credit for the man defense that they're playing right now. There is just no space. The most success Iowa State has really had is some of the crossing routes or the check down to Breece Hall coming out of the backfield and a couple of out routes. But for the most part, Purdy's had to hang on to the ball more than he wants to because that man coverage has been so tight.
Purdy's got to use another timeout, facing a 3rd and 10. Cyclones down double digits early in the 4th quarter at home against Louisiana.
ESPN College Football is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Now, Billy Napier's program helping some folks out in state. A couple of places hard hit by Hurricane Laura. Lafayette was generally spare, but their own buddies in the conference, McNeese, had damaged the campus and the football stadium. Lake Charles was devastated by the hurricane, so they got a semi-trailer, went over there, loaded it up, took most of the roster over there to hand it out.
Yeah, 56 players, enough to fill 2 buses, keeping socially distanced and emptying that 18-wheeler. It's great job.
Big 3rd down for Iowa State and Brock Purdy, down 10 at home. Purdy over the middle and broken up at the last second. Cole, what'd you learn about what the Ragin' Cajuns wanted to do in the secondary today?
I spoke to Austin Armstrong, the inside linebacker coach, before the game, and he said, listen, we don't think they see a ton of man coverage week in and week out in the Big 12. We think we're athletic enough, fast enough, quick enough to be able to man up these receivers and cause some problems. Because they're not familiar with it, we think we can have success with it. That plan seems to be working well for the Cajuns today.
I would say pretty successful. They're keeping up with these large receivers and tight ends who aren't able to body themselves away and doing a great job of blocking the passes.
Joe Rivera punts it away. Guerrero's return 1. and gets taken down by the second man. Back to the studio, here's Matt Berry.
Tell you what, guys, in this early window of games, plenty of entertainment. This Charlotte Appalachian State, Aaron McAllister fields the kick at his own 5, stutter steps his way to the sideline, gets away from a kind of tackling effort from the kicker, and goes 97 yards for the touchdown. Charlotte's first touchdown kick return since 2015. And right now, Arkansas State has taken a 7-point lead on the road at Kansas State. Interesting goings-on in the Big 12 early, gentlemen.
A-State with 423 yards of offense. Meanwhile, for Louisiana today, they've got 2 kick returns for a score. They made 1 out of their 3 field goals.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. Tell Matt Berry, we had 2 kick returns. You showed us one, we got 2. Okay, you know, got to come a little stronger than that for this crew, all right?
Got LeBlanc's 78-yard touchdown catch. Big playability for Levi Lewis and the Raging Cajuns. Here's Regis, and now Golick, they have an opportunity with a 10-point lead to turn back to that ground game that was so successful for them last year.
Yeah, but it's been non-existent really today. And we've showed you last year in their 3 losses, they averaged 148 yards a game. They only got 63 yards rushing today. They're not going to even get to that 148 unless they bust one. They would love to, because right now a successful running game would burn the clock, because right now they're just using the clock and letting it all run down, let the time run down. But in all honesty, their offense hasn't done a ton today.
Back to the ground. Iowa State fills up the gaps. Regis, no gain.
It's 3rd down and long. It'll be interesting to see what Louisiana wants to do. The best way to obviously not give Iowa State the ball is to keep the ball, but you try and take a shot here on 3rd and 8, 3rd and long, or you just hand the ball off and let that clock continue to run. They'll use every second of this. You run it again and just let the clock run, and you try and get that 1st down and keep possession. You're on the road, man. You're going for the win. Is this where you go for the throat?
Drive started at 11:06. Lewis over the middle, and that's blown up. Only a gain of 2. Greg Eisworth, haven't called his name a ton. He's uber talented, and he takes down LeBlanc.
Safe play. I think, you know, if you want to say a smart play, get the ball in the hands of one of your receivers, see if he can shake a tackle and make the 1st down. Keeps it in bounds, keeps the clock running either way.
So in the end, they'll run off a little bit more than 2 minutes off the 4th quarter clock. Reese Burns averaging 43 yards a punt today. Here's Tariq Milton. Tried to change direction, and it got dropped at the 40. 8:47 to go in the 4th quarter. Iowa State needs to find some offense if they don't want to start the season with an upset loss. Later tonight, Trevor Lawrence leads #1 Clemson against Wake Forest, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ESPN. All right, check this out. Here's your ACC outlook. Best chance to win, Clemson 86%. Notre Dame's only at 6%, but Golick, that's the best chance they've had to win a conference ever.
Wait a minute, it's changed. It's Notre Dame at 86%. Weirdest thing in the world, seeing them paint the ACC logo at Notre Dame Stadium. Really wild.
That was weird, wasn't it? Here's Brock Purdy taking off and scrambling out of bounds on 1st down. It's a gain of 5. How do you feel about it? I haven't heard.
No, listen, it's the right thing to do this year. Listen, Notre Dame's splitting its NBC money that they're getting with everybody in the conference, so it's a win-win for everybody. And if next year goes back to, we all keep our fingers crossed, it goes back to normalcy, then the ACC logo will come off the field at Notre Dame and they will be independent again.
Duke has an early 3-0 lead on number 10 Notre Dame. 2nd down 4. Purdy flushed again. And Purdy tries to tiptoe his way to a first down. Fantastic footwork to even make it close, and it is a first down for Iowa State on a couple QB runs.
Yeah, but he wanted to go downfield, but Jalen Johnson again with the man coverage on Chase Allen just absolutely locked him up. That's where Purdy wanted to go. Luckily, he was able to make a first down out of it.
Deep ball, sideline shot, diving catch, first down. They say incomplete.
Yeah, that hit the ground. Definitely hit the ground. Boy, he laid out for it. That would have been one. That would have been a top 10 on SportsCenter, no doubt about it. But you'll see he gets his hands on it, and then I believe it's going to come through and hit the ground. Only got one hand on it, hit the ground, and then he scooped it. And and then it looks like he rolled and it hit the ground again. I think that's the correct call.
No stoppage of play. Swing pass to Hall. Sneaks under Allen's arms and picks up 5. Let's check in with the studio.
All right, guys, I don't have a kick return for you, Golick, but I do have Javonte Williams scoring his 3rd touchdown of the day for Tar Heels. Only had 5 touchdowns all of last season. North Carolina separated from Syracuse 31-6.
All right, we'll let that slide, Matt. That's fine.
Purdy facing pressure again. Oh, my goodness, right through the hands of Percy Butler. He was trying to find Tariq Milton.
Again, listen, they're up 10 and things are looking good right now, but as I said, after a game you can talk about certain plays. And this is one, unless things continue to go well for Louisiana, this is one Percy Butler's going to look at and said, boy, this could have been a little bit of the start of an icing if he could have hung on to that one. Just an overthrow by Purdy. And we've seen a few of those today. Well, no doubt they're going to have to go for it on 4th and 5.
Purdy.
Wow.
Incomplete. Chase Allen, the intended receiver. Louisiana turns him over on downs for the 2nd time this game. Percy Butler in the middle of it again.
Again, Chase Allen just again trying to body. It's just a little hook. He's right there. And then Butler comes in late. See if he got a piece of the ball on it or not. If it was a Chase Allen drop or if this was Percy coming right over the top. Oh, what a great job. Again with that left hand. Just getting it in there. They have been absolute. Now, I don't think he touched it, but certainly raking that down could have disrupted the vision of Chase Allen. They have been absolute money on their man coverage today. Cole, you brought that up earlier. Absolutely spot on with how they felt they could deal with the receiving corps from Iowa State, and it has worked.
Elijah Mitchell in the backfield. Cajuns will try to work clock again. Mitchell stays in bounds even though he loses yardage.
You're going to see nothing different, I don't think, from Louisiana at all. Iowa State's been stopping it basically all day. They're going to put guys up at the line to try and stop the run. It would be interesting if Louisiana wanted to take that shot. Rob Sale said, and I don't mean a deep shot, I just mean throw the ball and try and get a first down and keep possession.
They'll let the play clock get down to 5. Iowa State drops 8. Lewis will take off on his own, and he stumbles to the 48.
I think he was looking to do that the whole way. You could just see he started to inch up right away. So here we go. 3rd and 8. Another one of those decisions. You do a little short, safe pass. Do you just run the ball, or do you go for that first down? Sitting here, it's very easy to say I'd go for the first down, but I don't have any pads on right now.
They'll run it.
Whoa.
And how about running for the first down? Elijah Mitchell. Pickup of 20.
What a time for your biggest run of the game. You've been stymied the entire game. Nothing fancy here. Zone blocking up. Able to get up to the second level. Ken Marks up to the second level. Walls off the defensive back, or the linebacker, Mike Rose. And that is a nothing fancy run, and boy, what timing for that. The best run of the day, the timeliest spot of the day. There's got to be a whole lot of uh-oh going with Iowa State right now.
Play clock at 1 as they get the snap off. They used every second they could. Ball came loose after he was whistled down on a run by Elijah Mitchell. The Raging Cajuns played their first road game against a ranked team in 1936 in Baton Rouge against Louisiana State. They lost that game 93-0. Their most recent in Boone against App last December. They've never won a road game against a top 25 team, but now with less than 5 minutes to go in this one, they have a 10-point lead on the road. You're watching the Big 12 Conference on ESPN. As we continue Dr. Pepper's Championship Drive Game of the Week from Jack Trice Stadium in Ames. Matt Campbell's squad up against it late. 4:53 to go, and the Raging Cajuns lead 24-14. What a huge run to pick up the first down for Bailey Napier's squad. They're undefeated with the lead in the fourth quarter since he took over, and they're trying to finish this one off. Most anticipated game in school history. On the road against a top 25 team with a chance for a win after an 11-win season last year. The ground game again, and another first down run. Tom Hart here, Mike Golick there, Atlanta and Bristol. What a huge win this would be for the Raging Cajuns. If they pull this off, Mike, their defense will have played a key role. Yeah, we're seeing the offense right now actually controlling the ball, something they would hope to do more of the game. But Ashland Washington and Percy Butler, what they have done in that man coverage has been absolutely incredible. And then the pressure from Farrar Gardner. And I'm going to have to go off camera now because I just got brought a bunch of donuts that I'm going to start to eat. So sorry about that. Jason Fitz bringing me some. Come on in. Thanks, man. Tom, you go ahead. It's not social distancing. Yeah.
Can we share?
By the way, donuts work for a morning show. It's 3:10 p.m.
Jason Fitz is in here.
Can you send any my way?
Wearing his mask? Absolutely not. Nope, we can't. I have them all. Dozen here just for me. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Cole. Thanks, Jason. Now get out. Yeah. Oh boy.
It's the first donut delivery.
You stayed up all night practicing your ad libs.
Football game I can remember.
I'll tell you what, that was an unexpected, delightful snack.
Levi Lewis and the Cajuns bleeding the clock again. Here's Regis. And once again, he carries dudes with him, picks up another first down.
You know, we have
icing on the donut.
Yeah, there you go.
Cajuns.
Way to go, Tom. Well done. You know, we have seen the Iowa State defense wrapping up. Cole, you and I, one of the breaks, were talking about how well they tackle and how well we've seen them tackle on film. Now they're just getting dragged. I don't know if some guys are going for the ball too much. They're just absolutely getting dragged, and I think the wind is coming out of their sails, and certainly the wind's blowing strong for Louisiana now.
No, there's no doubt. And first thing that stuck out to me about Cyclone defense when I studied them coming into this game was how well they tackled. It was impressive to see, especially in the open field. Taking on blockers, too, was something that I was impressed with. But obviously today started out well and maybe a little bit gassed out here late in this game.
So at some point, Iowa State's going to have to start using their timeouts because Louisiana doing a great job just letting that clock run down. I mean, basically 2-0. That's exactly the thing to do. Easy situational football right here. Let the clock run down. It is your friend. I got to
John Haycock's defense was good against the run last year, but great in the first half of this one.
Got the corner.
Here's Chris Smith, and he's barreling over dudes inside the 5.
We haven't seen a ton of the misdirection. Listen, they're hitting. They only have 114, right in that 100 yards rushing, well below their average. But you want to talk about timely rushing right now. First dragging some ball carries, and now with a little misdirection and getting the corner. You see a lot of hands on hips on Iowa State. I really think they can't believe what's going on right now.
This will be the 10th play of the drive. Iowa State has 2 timeouts remaining. Why haven't they stopped the clock?
It may be saying something right there. Maybe saying something right there.
A push up front, 57 seconds left. Chris Smith again facing a 4th down 2 scores. Iowa State not stopping the clock.
This is what you call conceding. Conceding the victory to Louisiana. It's exactly what's going on here. Matt Campbell knows his team has lost this one. Wow. What a devastating feeling for them and for Louisiana. An incredible job to come in off the one of the craziest off seasons we've ever seen, to be able to put this together on the road and get this win over a ranked opponent.
They'll use a timeout to avoid the delay game penalty. With 15 seconds left, the Raging Cajuns will have one more snap. Leading by 10, trying to upset number 23 Iowa State. This will be the first ever road win against a ranked team for the Raging Cajuns. Let's take a look at today's more driven moment, brought to you by Goodyear. A couple of special teams touchdowns for the Raging Cajuns. A 95-yard kick return for Chris Smith. An 83-yard punt return for Eric Arur. And the Raging Cajuns were off and running. And the special teams, the difference in this.
Huge. And one thing, when you see a return like that on that punt return, and you see all those red jerseys all in one spot, it's going to be a really bad film session tomorrow. Punt team and kickoff team is all about, and it's a term I've heard, and Cole, I'm sure you've heard many times in probably our short tenures on special teams, is lane integrity. Lane integrity. And between them not having it and Louisiana blocking well, that's the difference in the game. We can talk about offense and defense, but it was special teams that helped win this one, put the points on the board, and this Louisiana defense that really took it to Iowa State.
They're going to keep the offense on the field on 4th down, and they will punch it in. Regis with the touchdown. 2-yard plunge.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'll be honest with you, much like the coach conceded the win by not calling timeouts, it certainly seemed that defense, we saw them tackle much better throughout this game against the run on this drive. I think with each play that went on, they just knew more and more what was going to be happening here and that they weren't going to win this game, and it showed in that performance. Can do nothing but tip your cap to Louisiana and the way they played this ball game.
Kenneth Almendarez for the extra point. What a performance by the Raging Cajuns from Lafayette. And Acadiana can celebrate this first full weekend of college football with the first top 25 team to go down. Tonight from Las Vegas, it's UFC Fight Night. Michelle Waterston and Angela Hill headline the card in the strawweight main event. The prelims start at 5 Eastern with the main card at 8 on ESPN+. What a fantastic effort by the Raging Cajuns today.
Really has, and I guess that's one of the things you don't know that first game of the season. How are the teams going to come out? Listen, we talked to players on both teams, coaches on both teams, and nobody was making excuses. Said, hey, this is what the offseason was. Everybody had to deal with it the same way. How did you deal with it? Both teams felt they got enough work in. Both teams felt that they were ready. But, the eye in the sky doesn't lie. It's going to tell a lot of things tomorrow when the coaches and players are going over this and just how this went. I couldn't be more impressed with the man coverage on Louisiana, on the receivers and the tight ends, the big bodies. Again, they had the athleticism and the quickness to stay on them. But boy, I mean, they were all over them. Great coverages, great pass breakups, and a lot of times when you're that close, sometimes you get caught with that off arm around a guy and get a penalty. They weren't doing any of that. It's great coaching, great execution.
Last year, Louisiana won 11 games, double-digit wins at the FBS level for the first time in school history. And they pick up right where they left off. If they're not playing a school named Appalachian State, by the way, the Mountaineers lead by 8 at home against Charlotte late. They're almost unbeatable. Billy Napier said, listen, we'll cross that Appalachian State bridge when we get to it, but we got other things to worry about, and we just need to progress and get better week to week. And you think Matt Campbell's probably thinking the same thing on the Iowa State sideline. A lot of room for improvement for the Cyclones.
Boy, a lot of room, without question. And it's amazing how in a win, the Louisiana coaches will be happy for their guys, but it's always amazing how they'll find those down moments, right, Cole? To not let you get too big ahead, even though this is one of the biggest wins in their program history.
It was another thing that I talked to multiple members of this staff before the game, Mike, and it was, we just want to stay in this thing. We want to be hanging around in the second half. We want to have an opportunity to make some plays late, build our confidence throughout the game, and then hopefully find a way to get a win.
They'll run it to close the clock, and for the first time in school history, the Raging Cajuns notch a road win against a ranked opponent. Billy Napier's team remains undefeated when leading in the fourth quarter, and the Raging Cajuns' first ever road game came against LSU in 1936. They lost 93-zip. Long ways from that. Last year against Appalachian, they lost by a touchdown against the 15th ranked team in the country. Now they come on the road, and for the first time, a road win against a top 25 opponent.
Something great to build off for them, no doubt about it. On the other side, a lot of reflection going on in the Iowa State locker room and in the facility come tomorrow and next week on just what went on and how to better themselves. And I'm sure they will play better. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But, hey, today it was Louisiana. They deserve everything they got here, which is a victory as they head home.
They harassed Brock Purdy into a 16 for 35 afternoon. Didn't throw a touchdown, threw a pick. Meanwhile, Levi Lewis outperformed him, and the special teams provided 2 return scores for the Raging Cajuns. They also got a 78-yard deep ball touchdown. All big plays for Louisiana to come on the road and get this win. Incredibly impressive. They've got some friends and family who've made the trip from Lafayette that are in the stands here on a friends and family kind of day in Ames. And their trip home will be a joyous one.
Boy, it's just
Levi Lewis said his family was going to be here, Mike. Mom, dad, 2 brothers and sisters, and they saw him notch a huge win.
Well, I think that was fantastic, knowing that the visiting team, their family members, some of them can go to that, so they got to witness this as well. But, you know, I'll say it again, and Cole, you understand this, you know, this going through, you know, a training camp and a preseason and getting ready for a game. And a lot of times, especially this year, while you think you're ready, you don't know what to expect because it's been such a different offseason and preseason than you're used to. You're not sure what to expect, and you're not sure how your players are going to react. Boy, oh boy, Louisiana players certainly answered some questions today.
This is their second win against a ranked opponent. Raging Cajuns will be in Atlanta next week to take on Georgia State noon on ESPN2. Iowa State's got a bye week, and then they're slated to play in Fort Worth against TCU on September 26th. But TCU has had some COVID test issues, already postponing their game with SMU. So it remains to be seen what's in the future for Iowa State after a week off next week. Billy Napier and his Raging Cajuns come on the road to pick up the victory. Cole Kublik went on the road as well. Chance to catch up with the Raging Cajuns head coach.
Billy Napier is too busy getting congratulations from everybody as he's making his way to Cole, and I don't blame him. Now Cole is with Billy.
Coach Napier, an offseason filled with uncertainty. To be able to go on the road and get the first road win in your program's history against a top 25 opponent. Tell me how you're feeling right now.
Man, it's a special group of people. in that locker room, you know. Things like that don't happen unless you've got exceptional people. And that starts with our leadership at our university. You know, we've been given an opportunity to go get incredible people. We've got the resources that we need to compete. And our coaches have done a terrific job investing in these kids as people. We started there. Certainly the football, we believe, comes after that. So I'm proud of those young men. I'm proud of our staff. It's been a heck of an offseason, man. I know you guys are well aware of what we've been through, but you could talk about COVID-19 and these social issues and a hurricane, but when you lose one of your family members, one of your team members, it's a significant event. So I hope my man DJ's up there smiling right now for sure.
You know he is. You know he is, Coach. Why was it important for you to get your team together at midfield? That doesn't always happen just after a victory. What was your message to your team right there?
Well, faith's a part of our program. You know, I think it's something, we've got a huge opportunity and a platform to not only teach football, but teach a lot about life. And oftentimes for us, that's faith related. So we do that each and every week. Our team chaplain, Eric Truel, does a terrific job. It's part of our plan to help these young men continue to grow and develop and live a good life after football is over.
Coach, I know there are a lot of things when you have to compress practice that maybe get forgotten about and you don't spend as much time on. I don't know what your plan was for special teams this entire offseason, if there was more time, less time, but how did that happen today?
Well, I think it's part of our culture. You know, I think we call them game changers. We made 2 significant plays that completely changed the game today. You got to give our first-year special teams coordinator, Robbie Disher, some credit. Now, he had a terrific plan. Both of those were well thought out conceptually, and the players went and executed them. You know, our entire staff takes tremendous pride in their role in special teams, and that showed up today, and it was the difference today.
Coach, congratulations. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. Thank you all.
Billy Napier with the win. He referenced his offensive line coach, DJ Looney, passed away at the age of just 31 after a heart attack during team workouts this offseason. An emotional victory for the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana, their first ever road win against a top 25 team in the second straight season. A Sun Belt team knocked off a Big 12 opponent. From Mike Golick, Cole Kublik, our fantastic ESPN crew, I'm Tom Hart. So long from various places around the globe. Let's get you the college football scoreboard. Matt, Joey, and Jesse.
Tom, thank you so much.